bid lettings that we've done, and it was well within reason. It was a competitive number for a change order. We'd like to make sure that their change order numbers coming in are still competitive, so.
One of the things that came up during conversation on this was the fact that this was proposed for the post office. After doing some digging, I was able to find the old notes, 2005 through 2008, it sounds like, is when the discussion was happening on this. And the old notes showed that the city never conveyed this over to Sand when Sand was proposing this as the post office. So just double check, called up to the assessor's office. The parcel still is listed as the city of Humboldt, so we do own it. It is accordingly ours to take care of.
It's in bad shape.
It's
It
in
is.
bad shape.
It's pretty rough.
And it-
Behind Edward Jones
It's
and T.P.
especially
Anderson.
noticeable when you put it next to, T.P. Anderson's new lot.
Yeah, they're all, it's all
There's-
brand new around
There's
it,
a lot of
yeah.
really good pavement in that area. It makes it look
Yeah.
worse.
It's in
Yeah.
bad shape.
You don't wanna hit it very fast.
And the newspaper
Yeah.
constantly,
Oh.
you
They've
know.
been honest nonstop. They've been honest nonstop, because Kent drives it every single day. God.
There's actually a comment, we'll see what articles come out if you don't.
Well, and one thing to keep in mind, when we did the overall roadway project, we estimated, we had used a percentage of the area. We had made a rough estimate, and then we made an increase on the overall patching for the project, for the roadway project. And right now, and there will be a little bit more, but as you can tell, most of the actual full depth patching is completed. We had estimated, in purposely high estimated, 5,375 square yards on the full depth HME patch, and they've only done 3,286 square yards. So we have only 61% that we've actually used up, and that's a cost of $98,000. So we do have a little bit left in there that there's going to be some patching still left, but you're probably gonna come in pretty low on the overall project. So that's where we kinda targeting some areas that if we have the time to do it, if they're here, we don't have to go out and do full bid letting process because they're on site and this can be done as a change order, as long as they give us competitive numbers.
Right.
It seems like the right time to do it. We also went back to them after they gave us our initial numbers, cause Bob had indicated that asphalt prices were gonna come down, and he did lower all of his prices on each one of the change orders because the asphalt prices did come down. Completely opposite of the concrete prices this year, but, he's touting that one pretty good.
And this is money left over from our general bond obligation that we,
Yep, that's right,
For that
correct,
city.
Aaron?
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I
We
thought.
pulled out 1.2, the project came in under, and the project came in under. So it was under when we bid it, and then we also have, like he's saying, the 98,000 in patching. that
And there's
is
probably
still-
some savings in curb and
Yeah.
gutter that they're not gonna have as much, so I think we're pretty good right
Yeah.
now.
Okay, good.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Have a second? Second. Roll call vote.
Slater,
Aye.
Scholl,
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Goodell.
Aye.
Next, we need a motion to approve resolution number 2015-27. A resolution approving contract change order number 3 with Blacktop Service Company of Humboldt, Iowa for the roadway system maintenance project for a net increase of $4,015.
Again, I've got the picture up. This is clearly INS can't use up-to-date pictures.
Wow.
You actually see the old Finch building there, but it's actually the downtown plaza, and it's the section right next to what was the building was ripped up really bad. It's completely crumbled. That wasn't part of the scope of the work of the downtown project, so we need to get that cleaned up, get a nice edge on the back and get so that you get the grass and then asphalt, not, grass, gravel, slowly transitioning to asphalt at some point. So, that's what this section is.
And this was a big enough section, it is just a patch going back in, but it was a big enough section. We could've used the patch price, but it was a big enough patch that we got an actual decrease in the patch price. So it was well worth going and getting the number from Bob, because it's a bigger patch, it's easier for them to do, so it was good.
Good.
Move to approve?
Second. Roll call vote.
Shoal,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Cadell,
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next, we need a motion to approve resolution number 2015-28. A resolution approving contract change order number 4 with Blacktop Service Company of Humboldt, Iowa for the roadway system maintenance project for a net increase of $4,561.75.
This change order will pave the area of the road removed for the installation of storm sewer next to Jetco, to better facilitate the removal of water off the, roof and the other impervious areas. There is a considerable amount of surface area that drains off of Jetco, which, when you consider a 2-inch rain or a 3-inch rain, it's good to get that into a pipe and get it out of there so it doesn't start going over the surface. That's what the hope with this, coming across the road, and providing them an outlet, straight to a pipe, to get the water out of there. They will come through and, bring their roof, drains over to the pipe and drop it directly in, so that'll keep it from draining over the surface.
So this is the pipe work, the blacktop, the patch it, the whole ball of wax?
No.
This is
No,
just
just
the patch.
Just the patch. Have we done the work yet?
No, we've not put the storm sewer in. The reason we needed to get a number from Blacktop for this particular patch is that is a, I think he said, 9-inch thick, HMA section, and the typical residential was 4-inch, so there's twice the amount of asphalt. They probably wanted a little bit additional compensation for doing that patch. We have gotten one number in regards to the storm sewer, but we're in the process of trying to get an additional number for the storm sewer. And that would not be as a part of the project. With Bob, it's not gonna be any work that, Blacktop Service or, any contractor that is a part of the initial project is part of. So, we have got one number, we're trying to get that number as competitive as possible, so we're, we're trying to go to as many people as possible, so.
But it's Jet's responsibility to get it from
As you can see,
their area over to the,
you can see at the edge of the right of way here, up here on the left-hand side, they'll bring it down the side of their building's kind of like a U, and they'll bring it down the south, or north side of the south part of the building, and bring it to the, green dot there, which will be a intake.
And it's there's kind of a swale there to begin with. They must have shaped it kind of to get to the roadway there. And that's purposefully why we're putting that intake there. And this isn't a typical intake. You can see it's not, in the curb. We're trying to get the water before it gets to the curb. So this is an open-sided area intake. So it's as bad as it sounds. It looks like a mini little helipad. It's a square, concrete top, and it has open slots along the side. It allows a lot of water to get in there very quickly. That's a 30-inch storm sewer that it's tying into, so I think we're stubbing across a 30. And that storm sewer, the prices on the storm sewer are gonna be fairly high because of the storm sewer manhole. The storm sewer on the east side is fairly deep. So we're gonna have a pretty large structure that'll go down there. But as I said, we're still getting those numbers, but they won't move forward, if anything, until they get that approved, because we won't need the patch if that doesn't get approved, so. But we'll come back with numbers in regards to that, and hopefully more than one.
and then that'll attract quite a bit of debris on top, then who's gonna be responsible for like keeping the drain or off the grade, or, I mean, it's.
Actually, most of that water that's coming over that intake is on blacktop.
Okay,
That whole area that they show inside there is blacktop.
Yeah, I think there's a
Okay.
little bit of rock there,
Yeah.
so
but
not a
really,
big, not any,
No, not leaves and
okay,
brush. and-
okay,
You
good,
should go out and take a look at it.
Yeah.
John and I looked at it.
Yeah.
okay.
And he's running a private tile, actually, the
Right.
whole rest of the way, so it won't be coming surface to that. He'll drop all the roof drains in back at the back of the U and then bring them directly over so that it's not coming over the
Okay.
top. So,
And the thing on those open-sided area intakes, we do those with large amount of drainage coming into them because they are open, but there's also a sump in them so that if something gets in, that the cotton can get pulled back out. They're usually also graded into the grass around them to help, you facilitate some of the sediment, make it a little bit greener, routing that direction.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote.
Davis.
Aye.
Goodell.
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Shoal.
Aye.
Rusher.
Aye. Next is a resolution approving contract change order number 5 with Blacktop Service Company of Humboldt, Iowa, the roadway system maintenance project for net interest of $34,358.
This will fix the edge of the road on Jerry Hatcher and address getting water to the culvert without eroding the pavement. I'll leave it to the engineer to explain why it's undercutting that road and
Yeah.
all sorts of problems there.
Yeah, you have a lot of storm water that's running down that edge of that road, and it's eroding right underneath the road, so then it pops underneath that road, fills up, and then winter sets in and it pops that edge. What this would be, is this would actually extend that roadway slightly out to the west, the west side, and it would actually be a V channel that we're not preventing. We're allowing the water to come
And you can see
in.
that right
Yep.
here, is where this kind of slopes a little bit this way and a little bit this way, and this would be right here, where it slopes way out at that point.
Yep, and we don't think the sub-base underneath this road is very good either. So what we're trying to do is we're not only coring out 6 inches to put back asphalt, we're also coring out a foot, to put in stone. So put stone underneath to try to get it some decent stabilization, get it some feet, that then we'll route that water in. It's almost like a curb, a slight curb there, and take the water from the roadway there. And we're allowing the water that's already in the ditch, stay in the ditch, and to continue down and still coming to that same outlet. It's not the prettiest of fixes, in regards to this, but if you've gone on that road, it's not the prettiest of roadways. It's kind of a tough one. We went with Bob, and this is kind of Bob and I and Nick, all looking at it and trying to come up with some type of option that wasn't, okay, well, we need to redo the entire roadway, and we need to put storm sewer on it. No, well, we're gonna get that same water to come down, we're gonna channelize it, and we're gonna allow it come to that intake. Because when you have a large rain event, it's still gonna overtop that. Is that 11th Avenue North? It's still gonna overtop that. There's a small culvert there that can't handle it. So we did that grade to drain. We really we'll pull that out by that culvert, because it's kind of buried in there. Pull that out, and what we've also talked about is putting some decent sized stone in there to try to get that water slowed down a little bit before it gets through that culvert.
For all these funds, all these increases, are they in our 2015-16 budget year for our road use?
You've got, what do we budget?
I mean, I know we have some left over from the
Yep, from the project.
The
itself.
1.2 million that we,
And these would all still fit in
That's
one
what he's
point two.
really?
It's in this
Yeah.
year's budget.
Yeah.
But
Oh, so
you
these
know
would be
that-
included in the
Yep, as a part of that
1.2 project?
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all part of the 1.2, whether we've actually pulled out, did we budget the full 1.2? Because I don't know if did we have the bid yet when we,
I thought it was only like 800 and some thousand that we budgeted for.
And that would, your original contract price.
we did 1.1 last year. we
Well,
budgeted.
plus engineering and
Yeah,
financing.
so we did 1.1 in actual works, and then 75 in engineering, 25 in finance.
1.2 altogether.
So 1.2 altogether. So we did budget the whole thing, but when it came in for bids, it came in well below that, so. so
Right.
there is that.
I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Is this still coming out of the 1.2
Yeah,
that we planned for?
yep, this is all out of that 1.2. This is not a gas tax increase. This is all budgeted from the bond.
And due to price decreases in material and things like that, and that's why we've got
Mhm.
money left over, yeah.
We were very fortunate with some low prices on the bid, and then, we were fortunate that the sections we identified came in lower, so it was kind of you had it 2 times as low as what you thought it was gonna be, so gives us an opportunity to catch a few extra spots. When we met last fall, is that when we started?
Yeah, when we started looking
We
at
met
it.
last fall, knowing that things were coming in a little bit lower, we looked to try and see, met with Leroy and said, what, on your wish list of areas that you think really should be addressed, what are the top 5 that are fixable with something like this, not a full depth reconstruction of 2 blocks, because we don't have 2 block money. We do have something where we can go in and try and address, nagging issues. They drop some cold mix in there, it pops out 2 weeks later. I mean, we're wasting labor hours trying to babysit these areas. And sometimes, one of the things that Chris, Euban has said is, if it gets this bad and we're not gonna fix it, he's like, you're almost better going back to gravel at that point, because then you can at least grade that.
Mhm.
And so this is not that bad. There's a section on 16th that is that bad. It's concerning. They've tried to fix it 4 or 5 times, and we'll eventually get to that point where it's,
16th Avenue North, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
like right before the trail
Mhm.
is completely gone. But these improvements are things that'll last, several years. You can see he's got base underneath him and things like that, so.
It's kind
That-
of similar, they had this, you had actually a portion of the east side of the roadway, they had actually done this same thing. And that section is actually handling okay, it's just that they hadn't even tried on that west edge because they thought it was money lost. And that's why we said, well, it is unless you go pretty substantial on what you're putting back in for asphalt and pretty substantial on the rock to try to get something established.
Yeah.
This 14-foot strip, is that all the longer that you think you need to work in, or is it gonna be it
That's-
seems like that's a pretty short strip that you're doing there.
No,
It
this
seems like
is-
a-
14 width.
14.
Oh, 14.